so far by Hurricane Andrew. Now the question is, where does the hurricane hit next? It hit first and hardest today on the east coast of Florida with winds that gusted up to 165 miles an hour. Right now, the hurricane is in the Gulf of Mexico, expected to hit land again as soon as tomorrow night. The New Orleans area is one possible place for its next landfall. Death toll at least 12, including a minimum of 8 dead in southern Florida. Too soon to total up the immense damage, but you can bet it will be in the many billions. A curfew is in effect in Miami, and the National Guard's been called out. CBS News correspondent Bernard Goldberg was here in Miami with us when Andrew struck.
It was one of the most powerful hurricanes of the century, winds gusting to 165 miles an hour. And if the image makers like to think of Miami as an American paradise, in a flash, Hurricane Andrew turned Miami into a paradise lost. A million people have no electricity, no phones, and many of them have no water. Streets have become obstacle courses. Airports were closed. And tonight, National Guard troops are on the streets enforcing a dusk-to-dawn curfew. The worst damage was in the suburbs south of Miami. But because this is an inland area, about 10 miles from the water, residents were not required to evacuate. A reporter's supposed to be disinterested, a completely objective observer. But it isn't easy when the hurricane hits your block. This is where I live. But I was one of the lucky ones. The unlucky ones are the walking wounded, the people Andrew left devastated.
We have nothing, nothing at all. It's totally took everything, destroyed everything. You don't even have a roof in the house, don't have nothing. Everything and everywhere is just gone. We've lost everything and everybody's homeless. I don't know what we're gonna do.
I guess everybody's in the same shape around here. Some of them's whole houses are gone. I do have some walls left, but that's it.
And in one of the wealthiest parts of town, Andrew mocked the people in their expensive homes too. And tonight, President Bush came to Miami to inspect the damage. One of his sons lives in the area worst hit. The hurricane ripped through Miami in just a few hours, but it will take weeks in some places, months in others, before Miami is back to normal. Dan, you've been through enough hurricanes to know that in a much deeper sense, things don't really get back to normal. You start to wonder if something like this can happen again, and the simple fact of the matter is, the answer is yes, it can. And remember, Andrew is just the first hurricane of this season.
Bernie, we know that people are hurting. There's a lot of pain out there. It would help to have the power on, to have the lights on. How soon can that happen?
Boy, it sure would, Dan. For some people, it may happen in a matter of hours or days. But for others, the sad fact is it's going to take a long time, probably weeks.
Thanks, Bernie. Andrew became a tropical storm 1 week ago today. It was upgraded to a hurricane on Saturday morning out in the Atlantic east of the Bahamas. Churning westward, Andrew struck the top of the Bahamas last night, reportedly leaving 4 people dead there. Then the hurricane came plumb bob straight right to the coast of Florida, slamming shore this morning just after 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 25 miles southwest of Miami. The eye of the storm tore through the community of Homestead, then raced, luckily for Floridians, across the very southern tip of Florida. Remember, the Everglades takes up a lot of that space, and 3 hours later entered the Gulf of Mexico. And that's where Hurricane Andrew is tonight, out in the Gulf of Mexico. It is expected to hit land again, with Mississippi and Louisiana considered the most likely places where it may hit. Now, earlier today, I went to perhaps the hardest hit area of Florida, that Homestead section of the state, 25 miles just southwest of here in Miami. The eye of the hurricane roared directly over Homestead moments after slamming first into the edge of the Florida coast. This is the Highway of Heartbreak, Florida's new Trail of Tears. As we drove south on the Florida Turnpike from Miami down toward Homestead, the extent of the damage was stunningly evident. The word is incredible. The place is an overpass near Homestead, Florida. The main force of the hurricane winds came through here. gust up to 165 miles an hour. Let me show you something. See, these are light poles on the overpass. This is where one was. The force and twist of the wind broke this off. The whole light pole is down there. Now, from here in the overpass, as far as the eye can see, there are, I do not exaggerate, thousands of roofs blown off homes in this area. A storage facility that looked as if it had been bombed. Personal belongings blown everywhere. Overturned vehicles were scattered and strewn for miles.
Well, welcome to the Holiday Inn.
Welcome to the Holiday Inn, where we found not only a building destroyed, but lives in shambles, too.
We are at the hotel. Just a few employees we're staying because our house is. We lived on Holiday Road. There's no house. We have no house to go back to. And Paul, my brother, you see it? You see it? Up in Pensacola, come get us.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
At least you're alive.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. What's been lost?
Well, I'm the food and beverage director. I've lost my restaurant, my bar, my banquet rooms. We've lost our homes. We've lost everything.
The National Guard was hurried to this shopping center where, incredibly, looting was going on during the storm. And what's happened here?
These three gentlemen right here are under arrest for looting. They were caught inside here by members of the Guard and a Met-to-Date officer as they were inside the Bernines.
What this was, I don't know, but it was a 3/4 of a city block of something. Gone, leveled. Across the street, Toys R Us has become Toys Was Us. Completely destroyed. President Bush has declared 3 counties federal disaster areas, and in the neighborhoods, you could see why. People trying to climb out, clean up, and figure out what they had left. Anybody hurt?
No, nobody was in there. Everybody, we were inside, you know, my parents were in the bathroom with my brother and sister, and I was in the closet with some friends.
Are you Catholic?
Yeah.
Were you praying?
Yeah.
What night?
This was your room?
Yep. I mean, it's just ironic that you know, that picture there that was just given to us is just standing still there, but...
And the people. These people are not accustomed to easy lives. Today they kept telling us it was worse someplace else. And it was. Did you think you might die?
Yes, one time I thought the roof was coming off and we would go flying.
So what were you doing at that moment?
What I was doing, praying. Very hard.
After a long night, everyone who lives along the Homestead Highway is still in shock, still in disbelief. You know, I think some people saw some of the hurricane and said, well, it's not so bad.
It is. It's terrible.
I don't think anybody got killed, so that's a good part.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Well,
Property can always be replaced.
thank you very much.
Okay,
Good luck to
thank
you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Good luck.
We need it.
Sorry this happened to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, they need it. Luck and a lot of help. Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, live from Florida. We'll take you across the Gulf to the place the hurricane may hit next, so stay here with us. Shattered, as Giselle Fernandez reports from